Hello everyone, welcome to online lecture series on engineering thermodynamics. This is third semester subject in mechanical engineering. We will begin today with course introduction. So first of all, what is thermodynamics? It is the science of energy transfer and its effect on physical properties of substance. So during our thermodynamics, we will be observing change in physical properties of substances due to various kinds of energy transfers, that is heat addition, heat removal, work input, work output, etc. And thermodynamics is based on observations of common experience which have been formulated into thermodynamic laws. These laws govern the principle of energy conversion. You might have studied these laws during your school time. These are zeroth law, first law, second law and third law of thermodynamics. And we are going to study this in this subject also. Now, from where the name thermodynamics has been derived, the name thermodynamics comes from Greek word therm, which is meaning of therm is heat, and dynamis, and meaning is power. So meaning of thermodynamics is heat and power, which is most descriptive of early efforts to convert heat into power. Today, the same name is broadly interpreted to include all aspects of energy and energy transformations, including power generation, refrigeration, and relationships among properties of matter. So this is basics of thermodynamics. Now, applications of thermodynamics. First is energy technology, that is steam and nuclear power plants, internal combustion engines, that is our automobiles. Third is gas turbine, which is used in aircrafts, air conditioning, refrigerations, gas dynamics, jet propulsion, compressors, chemical process plants, and direct energy conversion devices. So these are all applications of thermodynamics. Now we will go through the course content, that is the syllabus of our subject. First is introduction and basic concepts that we are studying in this lecture as well as in our next lecture. Second chapter is about first law of thermodynamics and second law of thermodynamics. Third is entropy and exergy. Fourth is power generation cycles and refrigeration cycles, which includes vapor power cycle, gas power cycles, and refrigeration cycles. And fifth and last chapter is combustion. So our entire subject is spread among these 5 chapters. And next is about reference books. So these are 6 reference books that you can refer. And during this semester, I will be using first book, that is Engineering Thermodynamics by PKNET, and which is Macro Hill Education, and third number, which is Thermodynamics and Engineering Approach by Eunice Angel and Bowles, which is also Macro Hill Education. So during this semester we will be using book number 1 and book number 3. So these are all reference books. Now we will begin our chapter number 1. So right now we are beginning chapter number 1, which is Introduction and Basic Concepts of Thermodynamics. First, we will study about thermodynamic system. A thermodynamic system is defined as a quantity of matter or a region in space upon which attention is concentrated in the analysis of the problem. So what is thermodynamic system? It can be either a quantity of matter, that is some fixed mass, or a region in a space, that can be a volume, upon which the attention is concentrated in the analysis of the problem. So we will try to understand this with the figure also. And everything external to the system is called surrounding or the environment. The system is separated from the surrounding by the system boundary. The system boundary may be either fixed or moving. So we will try to understand this with a figure. So let us take one example first. Let us say that this is a cup of tea and it is currently filled with some tea inside it. So let us say that this currently T is at 45 degrees Celsius and we need to analyze this system, and the environment, the surrounding part is environment which is, let us say, at 25 degrees Celsius. So we want to focus on how there is a reduction in the temperature of the tea. So what we are going to do, that we are going to focus on a specific region. Let us say that we are considering this portion as the volume, or you can also consider a fixed mass of this quantity of tea. So the meaning of this is, what we are going to do is, we are going to have a fixed mass or a region which is called, and we want to focus on this part. That's why this is called as system. So here this is system on which we are focusing right now, and this the thing which is other than system is called as surrounding. So this portion is called as surrounding, and this layer which separates the system from surrounding is called as boundary. So here this portion this is known as this portion is known as boundary. Okay, so this is the figure of system, surrounding and boundary. And this boundary can be either fixed or moving. In case of piston cylinder arrangement, this boundary will be moving, and when we combine system with surrounding, it comprise a universe. So if we consider both together, that is system and surrounding, it will be a whole universe. So to repeat, the thermodynamic system is a quantity of matter or region in a space upon which attention is concentrated in the analysis of the problem. Everything external to the system is called as surrounding or environment. The system is separated from the surrounding by the system boundary, that is this boundary. This boundary can be either fixed or moving. A system and its surrounding together comprises a universe. Now the next is types of the systems. first type is closed system. A closed system is system of fixed mass. That is, in this system, mass will not change. There is no mass transfer across the system. And there is no mass transfer across the boundary. So I need to change it here. Now it is okay. There is no mass transfer across the system boundary. There may be energy transfer into or out of the system. So here there are two kinds of transfer are possible in any kind of thermodynamic system. First is mass transfer and second is energy transfer. So in case of closed system, the mass transfer is not possible, while in here energy transfer is possible. A certain quantity of fluid in the cylinder bounded by a piston constitutes a closed system. So we will try to understand this with a figure. So here so we will repeat this, that this is our system. Here we are having surroundings, and here this is boundary. Now in case of closed system in which there is no mass transfer and there is only possibility of energy transfer, so here what is going to happen is this arrow indicates that there is energy in, and here this arrow indicates energy out. So this is the way closed system looks. That is, if you see that there is no mass transfer, only energy is entering and energy is leaving through the system boundary, and mass is remaining constant in this system. So we can take this figure. To further explain about closed system, we can also take a piston cylinder example over here. let us say that we are having a cylinder here like this, and apart from this we are having this as a piston, so this will be our piston which can move upward or downward. And here let us say that we are having air or any other fluid which is beneath the piston. And what we are going to do is we are going to provide heat from the bottom of the cylinder. So what is going to happen, let us say that we are having air inside it. So as we are heating it, the temperature and pressure of this air will increase, so this piston will move upward. However, this mass will not change, and this mass, that is the fluid, cannot exit this system. And one more important thing here is, if we need to consider the boundary of the system, then this will be the system boundary, and this boundary is actually a moving boundary, because as it will move upward, this boundary will get extended. However, this mass, that is with this blue color, will not exit through this system boundary. So this piston cylinder arrangement is one of the examples of closed system. So the meaning of closed system is mass cannot cross the boundary, energy can cross the boundary, or it is also a fixed mass system. Next is open system. So the open system is one in which the matter crosses the boundary of the system. The meaning of this is that the mass can enter into the system and it can also leave from the system. And there may be an energy transfer also, that is we can have both mass transfer as well as energy transfer in the open system. Most of the engineering devices are generally open systems. That is, let us take an example of air compressor, in which air enters at the low pressure and it leaves at the high pressure, and thus there is also energy transfer across the system boundary. So we will also try to understand open system with the help of figure. So this is our system. Here we have surroundings, this is boundary, and now the characteristic of open system is that mass as well as energy can transfer through this, cross this boundary. So first we will do that, we will show the energy in and energy out. So here this will be obviously energy in and this will be energy out. This gray arrow doesn't indicate any in or out, it is just a nomenclature, it is just for the nomenclature purpose. Now this is energy in and this is energy out. Now the important characteristic of open system is mass can also transfer. So we will show this mass. So here this will be mass in and this will be mass out. So this comprises of all characteristics of open system. So as you can see that here apart from energy transfer, there is also possibility of mass transfer in case of open system. So now we can take this figure. So here matter meaning of matter is here mass. Okay, now we will also take one more example of air compressor to better understand this. So let us say that this is part of air compressor. Okay, and in this air compressor, here there is an entry of here and air in and this will be air out. So here this will be air in and here this will be air out. So as you can see, in this air compressor there is a transfer of mass, and to compress this we require a motor and work input. So here we are providing a motor and this motor is connected to this compressor with the help of a shaft. So here this is motor. So here through this motor we are providing work. And there will be an exit of heat, because during compression process heat will be dissipated. So there will be a heat over here, and to define this system boundary we can draw it in this way. So this will be the system boundary, and this system boundary is called as control volume, sorry, control surface. Okay, so this is a complete example of an open system, and this will be here this will be the control volume. So we can also copy this. So we will keep it here. So this will be our example for open system. Now the next is closed system, sorry, isolated system. The isolated system is the one in which there is no interaction between system and the surrounding. That is, it is of fixed mass and energy, so there will be no mass transfer or no energy transfer across the system boundary. So here to explain this, it is very obvious thing actually, that let us say that here we are having this as a system, this as a boundary, and sorry, okay, this will be the boundary, and we can keep here somewhere the surrounding. So surroundings. So the meaning is here that this system is completely isolated from the surroundings. So there will not be any kind of heat, energy or mass transfer will not be present in case of isolated system. So this is quite obvious to understand. And ideally there is no example of isolated system because there is always some mass and energy transfer in our systems. Still we can take a thermos as an example of isolated system. Okay, now the next is quantity of matter versus region of space. So as you can understand by the name itself that quantity of matter will be mass and region of space will be a volume. So the first term is mass and second term is volume, which is if a system is defined by certain quantity of matter, that is mass, then the system contains the same matter and there can be no transfer of mass across the boundary. So this is called as a closed system. So whenever system is defined with the quantity of mass, then it will be a closed system. However, if the system is defined as a region of space with a prescribed boundary, then the matter can cross the system boundary, then it is called as the open system. So the first term over here, is open system, sorry, the first term over here is closed system and second term is open system. When there is a matter flow, then the system is considered to be of fixed identity, the control volume. So whenever we are studying about open system, it is also called as control volume. Thus open system is equal to control volume and closed system is equal to control mass. The next is macroscopic versus microscopic viewpoint. So to explain this very straightforward is that microscopic viewpoint will be at molecular level and macroscopic view will be which can be sensed or which can be measured easily and which is not at microscopic level or molecular level. So first we will study about macroscopic approach, which is classical as well as famous way of analyzing thermodynamic systems. Here a certain quantity of matter is considered without events occurring at molecular level being taken into account. So here a certain quantity of matter is considered and we will not worry or bother about what is happening at molecular level. And totally opposite of that is microscopic approach, which is also known as statistical approach. Here the matter is composed of myriads of molecules. So there are huge number of molecules present inside the matter. So if it is a gas, each molecule at a given instant has certain position, velocity, energy. So each molecule thus change very frequently as a result of collision. So here what is happening that we are counting each and every molecule and its properties, and the behavior of the whole gas is described by summing up the behavior of each molecule. Such study is made in the microscopic or statistical thermodynamics. Macroscopic thermodynamics is only concerned with the effects of action of many molecules, and thus these effects can be perceived by human senses. For example, pressure is an average rate of change of momentum due to all molecular collisions of unit area, and the effects of pressure can be felt. Now we will try to understand macroscopic versus microscopic approach with the help of one figure. Let us consider a huge container like this, which is filled with an air. So what will be there in this container? There will be small molecules which are not even countable. So in case of So here you can understand that there will be a huge number of molecules present inside this, and each molecule here, let us, if we pick this, each molecule will have its own properties of pressure and temperature. So in microscopic viewpoint, all these molecules are considered one by one, and we are doing statistical averaging of properties of each molecule to obtain the whole property. That is called the microscopic approach. Now let us take one more example, another case in which, let us say that we are here we are having a pressure gauge. That shows pressure with the help of a device, maybe it is a pressure gauge. So here this pressure gauge does not care about each and every molecule, so it directly gives us the result which can be easily sensed as well as perceived by the human senses, and this is called as microscopic approach. So that is the fundamental difference between microscopic and macroscopic approach. Now the next is thermodynamic properties. So each system has certain characteristics by which its physical condition may be described. That is volume, temperature, pressure, etc. Such characteristics are called as properties of the system. So this is actually the identity of the system. So a system can be identified with the help of its value of volume, temperature and pressure. So these are called properties of the thermodynamic system. All properties are of macroscopic in nature. Now why it is macroscopic? Because volume can be measured, temperature can also be measured, and pressure can also be measured with various devices. So these are all macroscopic in nature. Now here, when all the properties of system have definite values, that is fixed values, then the system is said to exist in a definite state. So let us say that the pressure of the system is 1 bar, volume is, let us say, 2 meter cube, and temperature is 50 degrees Celsius, and if it is remaining constant, then the system is having a definite state or a condition. Any operation in which one or more properties of the system changes, then it is called change of state. So let us say that the pressure which was previously 1 bar, it changes to 1.5 bar, then there is a change of state. Now the succession of states passed during the state change of state is called as path of change of state. So here we will try to understand this with the help of a figure. So this will be pressure and this will be volume. Let us say that our system is currently at state A. So at state A, it is having a definite value of pressure as well as a fixed value of volume. So this is the fixed state A because these two properties are fixed. Now let us say that there is an expansion process in which there is a decrease in pressure and increase in volume. So this system will pass through a change of state. And the final state is this. So the succession of change of state, let us say that this is not in a this does not happen in one go, it will reach some intermediate states. So these are all intermediate change of states. So these all intermediate states comprises the path of change of state from A to B. So this is a path of change of state. When the path is completely specified, the change of state is called as process. So this is here, when the complete path is specified, then it can be said that this is a process. So it can be written here that this is actually nothing but process A to B. That is called as process AB when the complete path is specified. And the next definition is a thermodynamic cycle. A thermodynamic cycle is defined as a series of state changes such that the final state is identical to the initial state. So we will try to understand this with the help of one figure. So here let us say that we are having a process from 1 to 2. So initial state is 1 and final state is 2, and it is passing through various small change of states. And as we need to define the thermodynamic cycle, and if you see again, the definition of a thermodynamic cycle is defined as series of state changes such that the final state is identical to initial state. So the final state, in case of the final state, should be identical to the initial state. Here final state is 2, so this is not a thermodynamic cycle. So we need to return to point 1 to complete this cycle. So here this is the way we can complete the whole cycle. With these intermediate states. So now this is a complete thermodynamic cycle. and we must show the arrow over here which indicates the direction of process. So this can be written as cycle 1 to 1, that is, it begins at state 1, it reaches state 2, and then again it comes back to state 1. So this is the thermodynamic cycle. Now the next is intensive and extensive properties. First is intensive properties. These are independent of the mass of the system, that is pressure and temperature. These pressure and temperature are independent of mass. While extensive property is opposite of that, that is, these are related to the mass, that is, these are dependent on the mass of the system, that is volume or energy. Higher the mass, higher the volume, like that. Higher the mass, higher the energy. If the mass is increased, the value of extensive properties will also increase. However, there is an exception here, that specific extensive properties. So what is the meaning of specific extensive properties? As it is defined that extensive properties are dependent on the mass of the system. So if we divide this extensive property with the help of mass, then it will become independent of the system, and then it will become intensive property. So let me try to explain this. So here, let us say that we are having energy E, which is extensive property which depends on mass. So suppose if we divide this energy with the help of mass, then it will become specific property, or in this case it will become as specific energy. So this will become intensive property. So whenever we divide extensive property with mass, it will become intensive property. So this ratio will be independent of mass now. So this is the end of today's lecture. We will quickly revisit all the slides so that you can get idea of what we have learned today. So first we defined thermodynamics, then applications of thermodynamics, course contents, that is syllabus, reference books. Let me repeat, we are going to follow book number 1 and book number 3. Then we defined thermodynamic system, surrounding, system boundary and universe. Then we studied about types of the systems. First is closed system, second is open system. We also took example of air compressor, which is example of open system. Then we studied about isolated system, then quantity of matter, which is actually closed system, versus region of space, which is open system. And thus open system equal to closed control volume and closed system is equal to control mass. Then we studied about macroscopic versus microscopic viewpoint. Then we defined thermodynamic properties, definite state, change of state, path of change of state with this figure. And then we finally studied about intensive properties, which are independent of mass, and extensive properties, which are dependent on mass. And specific extensive properties are intensive properties. So this is the end of this lecture. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much.